Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Echo. This is Leo's route, and it is Thursday. By morning, Leo seems to have perked up a little. It starts with some good news from Flynn. Cole's been in the crawl space. According to him, it had been too hot to sleep anywhere but there. Of course that's fucking insane, but it's definitely something Cole might do. In better spirits, Leo suggests we go out to some burger joint, to which I agree. On the way, we chat about my project. So, obviously, I don't want to spend all of our time just having fun. You do have a project to do after all. We have done nothing of our project. Okay. I don't remind him that most of this messing around has been his idea. Though we do need to hang out with TJ today, if that's okay. I promised him we would yesterday. He's been feeling kinda down, obviously. I look down at my sausage biscuit sandwich, the excess grease glistening in the sunlight shining through my window. I was thinking the park. Yeah, sounds like fun. So, what do you still need to do? I take a bite to give myself time to think. Well, honestly, I'm not too sure. The whole premise is about the body that was found in the mine. Yeah, what was that about? Well, I read about it on a website. Apparently some guy's mutilated body was found in the mines, and everyone in town lost their minds. A website? Yeah. Shouldn't you have a better source than that? Well, especially if the whole idea of your project is based off of that. I blush. Looking like Leo chastising me about journalistic integrity is kind of embarrassing. It's not that he's stupid. I guess I'm just used to feeling like the brains of our little dynamic. I mean, it's cited. I just need to get the book, which is something else we'll need to do. Do you have a library card? No. Wow, surprising. But I could sign up for one. Leo nudges me. Don't be bitter. I just want you to do a good job. I'm the one that went to college. I know what I'm doing. Leo laughs. You know, I read a study about college kids. A study? Sounds like something you wouldn't know about considering you didn't go to college. Right, well, anyway, it was more about how college doesn't make you smart, just more liberal. Aha, so that's a bad thing? Well, paying 20,000 a year to get indoctrinated just doesn't appeal to me. I frown. Is that why you stopped going, or have you just been looking up these studies to make yourself feel better about quitting? Leo pauses. That's a strong word. I guess I just realised that what I had was good enough. My dad makes more than most college grads, and he's teaching me the trade too. Leo pauses as he changes lanes round a massive 16 wheel carrying what looks like steel. And I'm already certified. Okay, where exactly are you going with this? I just want to make sure you're okay with that is all. Oh, well, I'm not Jenna. As long as you're doing what you want, I really don't care what it is you decide to do. Leo smiles. Well, good. And if we, I'm not saying we will, but if we ever got together again, I'd be able to support you. Well, just don't make fun of me for going to college, or what degree I decide to go in. You know, you're a good enough writer already. You could have just started up a blog or something. What? I just read that that's what journalism is these days. I start to sulk again. Maybe you should stop looking these things up. At least I'm learning to do something. It's not like I just got a degree in psychology and stopped there. Well, did you tell me you wanted to go into history? Isn't that worse? Let's just drop it. Leo looks at me out of the corner of his eye. Tudor, I'm not making fun of you. Well, when someone starts sounding like my dad, I think that's a good time to end the conversation. Wow, you're not into that. Definitely not. We drive in silence for a while as Leo pulls out his food from the brown grease-stained paper bag. As we're heading back, he nudges me. Hey, I have an idea. He talks with his mouth full, one hand holding onto his sausage biscuit while the other steers. Are you asking me? Hey, both hands on the wheel. Leo chuckles as he swigs from his orange juice carton with his steering paw before returning it to the wheel. Even when I'm in the car, you drive like shit. Hey, I'm way more careful when you're with me. That makes me feel so much better. Good. He takes another huge bite. I wait while he chews, and when he finishes, he takes another bite. You were saying? Oh, yeah. You know those train tracks behind my yard? Did you say they were important somehow? Yeah, Echo used to be an important junction. Well, why don't we go there, and you can film some stuff. The rail yard is like only a 5-minute walk away. I think. Actually, yeah, that is a good idea. Leo smiles, panting a little in the heat, looking proud of himself. Good, we'll go over once we get back. Wow, there's not much left of the old train yard. The building that used to service the junction is basically gone, save for the foundation. There are two groups of abandoned freight cars, with Golden Gate Southwestern in chip paint on the sides. I'm happy to see it, since it'll help with the scenery I'm trying to capture. After doing a few panning shots, along with some close-ups of the cars, I lean against an old freight car with my head back. I close my eyes against the heat. It's almost noon, so it's almost impossible to find any good shade out here. For some reason, it's only now that I'm realising how stupid it was to do it so early. The sunset would have looked a lot better, along with being a lot cooler. Leo's been gone almost 20 minutes at this point. He said he was going to go get some water bottles, but it's been a while. The sweat seeping into my shirt makes my skin crawl. After looking around, I peel it off and hang it up against a small metal ladder on the frame of one of the freight cars. I lean back against the exact same spot I was in earlier, where it isn't burning hot, and resume closing my eyes. Vaguely, I wonder how many miles this thing covered, how much of the country it's seen. The railway was closed down in the 60s, so it's at least over 50 years old. Unless they're just using Echo as a dump for unwanted train cars and left them here recently. A lot older than I am. There's something weirdly comforting about leaning against something that's been through so much. It's almost reassuring. It's like swimming in an old river, or a lake that's been around for millions of years. Something brief connected to things that are permanent. I hear rustling through the grass on the other side of the car, but I keep my eyes closed. Leo, I think I'm gonna die. I'm not built for the heat. I wait, but he doesn't say anything. Leo? The rustling starts up again, a long, slow drag through the dried vegetation. This time it sounds like it's coming from under the train. Leo? I finally open my eyes and step away from the car, turning around to look at it like I can see through it. What are you doing? Obviously trying to scare me, Leo was never as subtle as Jenna, but he did his fair share of at least trying. I lean over to look under the car, glaring. You know, if you're trying, I'm met with emptiness under the car. Just dirt, dead grass, and rusted rails. Was it some kind of animal? It sounded pretty big to be— oh, Chase! Fuck! A heavy paw slams on my shoulder as I jump as Leo shouts right next to my head. I stumble forward, but he grabs me up, laughing. Ah, holy shit, never seen you jump that hard before. Normally I'd be pissed, but that build-up just had me glad it was Leo. How the hell did you do that? Do what? That whole setup that you did? Well, you see, first I take my hand and slap it on your shoulder. No, the whole walking around behind me and making that dragging sound under the car. Huh? Leo looks confused. I frown. I guess it would have been kind of impossible for someone Leo's size to sneak around like that without me seeing him. Did you hear something? Leo mimics my earlier position and bends over to look under the train. Yeah, but there wasn't anything there. I thought you were trying to scare me. Well, I was, but I didn't do that. Probably some animal or something. There's a lot of weird wildlife out here, you know. He stands up. That would have been a good idea, though. It sounded really heavy, like a person. Could have been. You know, a lot of the weirder people around here like to come here to get drunk, or high, or whatever. Sounds fun. I must still look a little unnerved, because Leo sets a hand on my shoulder. Well, I'm here now, so don't worry. His eyes drift down to look at my torso. Damn, you've kept in shape. Well, better shape. A smirk, rubbing a shoulder. Oh, swimming every day helps. Leo rubs my shoulder, grinning. You look good. You always say that, and I always mean it. Well, thanks. I've gotten to the point where I've just stopped pretending that there isn't at least something still there between us. And I think I'll stop pretending that nothing's going to happen on this trip, eventually. What really worries me is what's going to happen after. Leo, meanwhile, slides his hand over my stomach. Not that I'd care if you gained any weight. It happens, but I like you this way. Yeah, it happens. I only hesitate for a moment. I slide my own hand under his shirt, and Leo makes a soft gasping noise as I press it up against his stomach. His ears fold back, though he keeps a grin on his face. Being a wolf makes it harder, you know. Yeah, I believe ya. As if to try to convince me that he hasn't really gained weight, he flexes his abs, flattening the soft fur on his stomach against my palm. Still wrapped in velvet. But, you know I'm into that. I get the urge to adjust my pants so my dick isn't jamming so uncomfortably into the crotch, but I don't want to make it that obvious that I'm aroused. You mind feeling some other part of me? You're making me feel fat. I giggle before I slide my hand up his torso. This exposes much more of his white stomach, all the way up to his chest, and I can feel his pounding heart. Is that better? Leo gives a breathy, laughing exhale as he lets me feel him. He sidles closer, resting both of his hands on my waist. I feel his peck with my hand as I thumb through his fur to find a nipple underneath, feeling it harden in response. Aha! Leo shudders and grins at me. Yeah, I think this place does things to us. Chase, do you remember our first kiss? This isn't the exact spot. Was it really 6 years ago already? I sigh, and then slide both my hands under his shirt and wrap them around his waist, burying my face in his chest. Leo hugs back as he starts nibbling at my ears, which makes me gasp. Hey, can't we just enjoy the moment? Leo giggles. Yeah, I am. I look up at him, and I'm not sure if I just run into it, but we kiss. It's a small peck, and then Leo puts his hand behind my head and pushes me deeper into the kiss. He opens his muzzle to clamp around mine, his warm tongue pressing up firmly against my lips. I'm still for a moment, and so is he, waiting for me to respond. When I do, it's with my paws around his back, me kissing back. A soft crack to my right makes me jerk my head from the kiss to look over. Kudzu's standing there, arms folded. Leo coughs in surprise, pulling back as well as wiping his muzzle. Kudzu, what's up? The raccoon's expression is hard to read as usual, but I see the corner of his muzzle quirk up after a while. Not much. What's up with you? Oh, you know, stuff. Leo laughs, and finally, Kudzu smiles. Hey Kudzu. I speak up, feeling awkward staying silent after Kudzu caught us like that. He nods in my direction. Chase, so, what are you guys really doing out here? Seems like kind of a dumpy place to be, doing that. I blush, but turn and point to my camera bag sitting inside the opening of a car. I was filming for my project. The place is important to Echo's history. Oh, I see. We could ask you the same thing. Well, I'm not exactly doing that, am I? Anyway, I just take walks sometimes on my days off. In the middle of the day? Well, usually. He narrows his eyes at me, clearly thinking that I'm suspicious about something, so I quickly add, I mean, it just gets so hot out here at this time of day. I'd die. Kudzu shrugs his shoulders nonchalantly. I don't know, I go for walks a lot. That's what I was doing last night when I found you two. Hey, thanks for stepping in last night. That could have ended badly. Kudzu shrugs again. It would have. Had to do something, didn't I? Well, we appreciate it. Leo wraps an arm around me and hugs. So, how was he when he came to? Pissed, obviously. He always is. But he said some things last night. You should stay away from him for a while. Kudzu's normally placid face shows some concern for the first time. What? He say he was going to kill me? Leo says it lightly, like it's not a big deal. Among other things. His eyes flick to me. I give a start. What? Whoa, wait, did he say some shit about Chase? Leo's hackles rise, and I can see him starting to bare his teeth. Again, he was on something last night. He might not even remember it, but I'm just warning you to be careful around him from now on. Kudzu looks back at Leo. Don't provoke him. I wouldn't if he wasn't such a fucking asshat. Just ignore him. I swear to God, if he talked about doing shit to Chase... His grip tightens even more around me. Hey, I'll be gone in a few days. Don't worry about me. I'm worried about you. I'm just getting really tired of that meth skeleton messing with everything I do, and if he fucking tries something with you... Leo? The air is tense, and I can feel Leo growling deep in his throat. Wanting to change the subject, I speak up. Oh, hey Kudzu. You know, we were going to go out to the park and hang out. Wanna come? Thanks, but I think I'm good. Leo perks up from his brooding. You know what? I think that's a good idea. We were going to play some soccer, but there's only going to be 3 of us. You could help even it out. Kudzu thinks. Well, I suppose I could use a workout. You're just like TJ. I think you guys will get along great. I don't really see TJ and Kudzu getting along just because they're fitness conscious. They're practically night and day. Well, we're heading out right about now. You gonna come? Kudzu hesitates for a second longer before he nods, his head in a quick jerk. Alright, yeah, why not? And with that, I gather up my equipment and we head back to Leo's house. It's not surprising that Echo hardly has an inch of flat grass in the entire town. Leo says they're planning to lay down sod next to the lake, where the area is further developed, but as of now, we have to settle for a park near Peyton. It's a plain stretch of grass, usually used for youth soccer games. In fact, I can remember when I was part of that same organisation, back when my stubby legs didn't matter as much. Of course, after a few years, it became clear that being an otter, I wasn't built for the sport. And that's when I took up swimming, of course, and then I realised that I wasn't really great at that either. Of course I could outswim any non-aquatic, but when it comes to other otters, I was pretty much bottom of the barrel. As we drive, TJ sighs next to me. I look over at him, and he's got his elbow against the armrest, staring out the window as we pull into the empty parking lot. Everything okay? TJ's ears perk, and he looks over at me, clearly forcing a smile. Oh, of course. You don't seem that way. What's up? I lean closer to him. Leo's talking to Kudzu in the front, so we have some amount of privacy. TJ looks down at his lap for a moment and shrugs. I think it's pretty obvious, Chase. This whole trip has been pretty bad. I'm about to counter that it hasn't been that bad, but he goes on. I just think it might have been best if I hadn't come. I feel bad, Zol. The way he tries not to frown, but does anyway, is both heartbreaking and adorable at the same time. I automatically rest a paw on his shoulder, reassuringly. Stuff happens, right? We came here to have fun, and that's what we're gonna do right now. Yeah, it's just that I feel bad for everybody else. What happened yesterday? I think it affected everyone. No way, I had a great time with Leo yesterday. Wasn't sad at all. I realise that statement makes me look like a total arsehat, but TJ just nods as Leo parks the car. We're here. As we reach the field, Kudzu immediately starts jogging the length a bit, while TJ stretches. I stand there awkwardly for a second, not really sure if I should join them, since that felt a little overboard for something so casual. At least, I hope it's casual. Leo rests the soccer ball against his hip as he joins me. They're so eager, right? Apparently. Well, it's not a bad idea. You don't want to pull anything. So me and Leo do a few awkward stretches before the other two join us in the middle of the field. So, let's pick teams. There's only 4 of us. It shouldn't be too hard. You want to pick? Kudzu looks between us before his eyes settle on me. Chase. Oh, okay. Probably best to keep the lovers off the same team to avoid distraction. I, at least, want a little bit of a challenge. Kudzu gives Leo a little smirk. I blush, but Leo smiles easily, rolling his eyes. It's not like that. Sure. So, I'm on Leo's team? TJ sidles up to Leo's side, and the wolf puts an arm around his shoulders. Yeah, you're lucky to have me. You know, in my country, we had a war over soccer once. Yeah, I don't believe you. It's true, thousands died from the football war. Wait, you call it football? Because that seems pretty confusing, since you're really into the other football. I live here now, so football is soccer and football is football, but if I were to call soccer football, I'd call it football. Wait, what? Pachika, let's just start. Kudzu looks around. Since there's so few of us, why don't we play half-field, grab a few rocks to mark the goal? After that's done, we start playing, and for me, it's pretty much a disaster. TJ of course dominates all of us. He dodges around me with ease, making me look like an idiot as I spin around trying to catch him, falling on my arse more than once. Kudzu's able to hold his own for the most part, but TJ gets it past him without much difficulty. I think the lynx realises how badly he is beating us after a while and starts to ease off. He passes it to Leo more often and only really steps in when he gets near the goal. Leo, while big, is slow as hell, and I actually managed to steal the ball from him a couple of times. I also think it's because he's not taking this seriously at all, because he keeps laughing and slapping me with his tail when I run past. At one point, with the score at like 7-0, I managed to get near the goal. TJ jogs in as I kick the ball clumsily, and it's so clear that he misses on purpose that everyone busts out laughing as it rolls into the net. TJ frowns. What? That was a great kick, Chase. I lean over, resting my hands on my knees as I gasp for breath. If you're going to let me score, you have to make it look more convincing than that, man. Also, I'm not 5. I can handle getting my ass kicked. After a while, we switch up teams with TJ on my side and Kudzu and Leo together. It's a bit more even after that, with me being TJ's handicap and all. After about half an hour, we call it quits and head back to the parking lot, where Leo throws us water bottles. I wipe my face as I sit on one of the parking blocks. Even though it's early evening, the weather is still way too damn hot. Leo and TJ are already up again, TJ showing him some of the moves he'd so viciously used on me. I'm glad to see that TJ is somewhat happy again. His ears are up, and he's smiling as he runs circles around Leo. Hey, am I supposed to learn anything if you're just using them on me? Just trying to make me look dumb, eh? Sorry. Alright, first thing you need to do. Okay, I noticed Kudzu standing a few feet away, watching along with me. So, I guess you've known Leo since you moved to Echo? Kudzu looks over at me before leaning back against Leo's van. Yeah, he saw me moving in and insisted on helping, and that's how I met him. Sounds like Leo. Kudzu takes a swig from his water bottle. He's a good guy. Definitely. So, you used to live here, right? In Peyton? Unfortunately. I guess Leo told you. Yeah. I also remember Leo saying that some bad things had happened in the city for the raccoon, so I wonder if I should press or not. Hey, sorry if it seemed like I was making fun of your name a few days ago. It's a cool name. It's just different, you know? Kudzu smirks. No, I know it's weird. You just caught me at a bad time's all. I spread my legs out, sighing as my knees pop. I'm not built for running around. Well, yeah, you're built for swimming. I raise my eyebrows at his bluntness. It's not really a speciesist thing to say, but most people don't often point out a species aptitude. Oh, so I guess I wonder why you'd moved to Echo. Such a dump. Kudzu's silent for a while. In the meantime, we watch Leo fall on his arse after TJ kicks the ball between his legs. People. What? People are the reason why I left Peyton. Oh, Peyton is technically a small city with just 70,000 people. Compared to Pueblo, it's nothing. The more people there are, the worse it is. It's the same anywhere. Oh, okay. Kudzu goes on. Sure, in Echo, there's 100 shitty people, but in Peyton, there's 50,000 of them. So I prefer Echo. His tone is so dark at this point that I don't even respond. Something definitely happened here in Peyton, and I don't dare ask what it was. Luckily I'm saved an awkward silence, as Leo haphazardly kicks the ball in our direction, and TJ comes running up to us. Damn it. Alright, I think that's enough for today. He jogs over, wiping his face. Man, I need a shower. Are you two getting along? When Kudzu doesn't say anything, I pipe up. Yep. Leo frowns, clearly sensing something's wrong. Well, okay. Anyway, let's go out and get some ice cream. I've really been craving it. I stand up slowly, knees popping again as we all pile into the car. As we drive, TJ continues to stare out the window, but his ears are up and he doesn't seem so depressed anymore. I lean over toward him. Are you feeling better? TJ turns to look at me, smiling. Yeah, it was fun playing with you guys. I grin. You're insanely good? He shakes his head. Not compared to the other guys at school. I'm not aggressive enough, but it is fun. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. TJ nods. It's too bad we can't come back and do it again tomorrow. Oh, why not? Not that I'm crazy about doing it again, but I'm not sure what would prevent it. He looks at me. Well, your project? I frown. I don't think... Hey, what flavour do you guys want? Leo practically shouts back at us. I look around. We aren't even at the ice cream parlour yet. It doesn't seem to matter to TJ though. Oh, cookie dough. It's been so long since I've had that. Really? I didn't know you liked that flavour. And somehow Leo's able to keep up the conversation about ice cream flavours all the way to the actual ice cream parlour. That is suspicious. Did Leo just, change the subject into somebody else's conversation? Okay. Sure. I decide the shots I got earlier in the day were too bright, not representative of the sad state of the town that I wanted. The setting sun does a better job of capturing the desolation, the bittersweet depression of it all, a metaphor for an end, in a way. At least, that's how I hope it comes across. I lean back against the old rusted car, clicking through the images I'd taken. It feels very quiet, despite the wildlife around me. And so that's why it's easy for me to pick out the footsteps headed in my direction. At first I think it's Leo, and I wonder how he's finished up with his shower so quickly. But then I realise that the crunch of dried vegetation is too soft, too light to be Leo. I look up, kinda hoping to see Kudzu, but instead I'm greeted with the sight of Clint headed in my direction. My grip tightens on the camera, watching as he approaches around the bend of the tracks. He doesn't see me at first, As he gets to the tracks, he hops on to one of the metal rails and balances there, walking along like he's on a tightrope. Does everyone in Echo just come here to take a walk? I think about walking around the train car out of his line of sight to hide until he passes me. While I'm thinking this, he loses his balance and stumbles off the rail, and that's when he looks up. Of course I'm the first thing he sees, and we both just sort of stand there, watching each other. I don't know what to do. Could have said Clint probably didn't remember anything from last night, but I'm not willing to bet on it. It does look like he's not even sure who I am, though. His eyes are squinted, almost shut, mouth all screwed up, as he scratches his head comically. He leans forward, almost to the point of falling over again. He's definitely on something. At that moment, a look of recognition spreads across his face, and his mouth opens wide. Then he starts jogging straight for me. The abruptness of his movements startle me, and I almost drop the camera. I angle myself away from the car so I'm not backed up against it, and start taking steps back as he gets closer. He stops though, about 10 feet away, and points at me. "Hey, I know you." I'm at a loss for what to say. He's wobbling back and forth, his eyes wide open. "Your name?" There's an awkward pause as I try to determine whether or not he's asking a question. "My name? You mean Chase?" Why did I tell him that? "You're Leo's friend." Aha. I'm distracted again because that's when I see the handle of a pistol just poking out from the front of the waistband in Clint's jeans. Clint glares. "Fucking Leo, why do you hang out with that creep?" I'm looking around, trying to decide the best way of escape in case he loses it. I mean, he's always saying shit to me, always saying shit about my dad, and he had a fucking perfect life and rubs it in my goddamn face. I take a few innocuous steps back so that the end of the car is right next to me, in case I have to duck behind it. I don't think Leo's life was that easy. It was pretty bad back in his country. Fucking Bina coming here to make my fucking life even worse. Couldn't go home and be happy. Couldn't go outside and be happy. I can't be happy anywhere. He sneers at me. "And you? You fuck him, don't you?" I stare at him and don't say anything. I feel like anything I say could set him off, but he waits patiently, expecting an answer. "Clint, don't you?" He shudders visibly, clenching his eyes shut. "Fucking imagining you licking his fat ass is disgusting. I don't even care that you're fucking around, but with him. If I wasn't so afraid of the whole situation, I probably would have laughed just then." I take another step back. "Hey, I was actually just about to head out. You know, I'm doing this project. It's kind of why I'm here." He glares at me. "Me and Leo broke up a few years ago. We're just friends." You don't know what he's like. The things he did to me, it was way worse than what I ever did to you. "But hey, I do need to head out. We can talk about it later." He sees me stepping around the car, and immediately his hand shoots to the handle of the gun. "Hey." I freeze, watching his hand, preparing to throw myself to the ground if he pulls it out. At the same time, I'm praying that he'll shoot his dick off if he does. He glares at me. "What the hell are you even doing out here anyway?" With shaking hands, I point to the camera around my neck. I told you, I'm doing a project." I try to smile as I hold it up. "Just about Echo. What the fuck is there to say about it?" His hand loosens on the pistol, and I manage to steady my voice enough to actually speak. "Well, there's history, you know? There's history to everything. I'm just trying to figure it out." Clint looks around, seeming to forget about his gun. "Oh, you mean like the railroad?" "Yeah, like the railroad." Clint's eyes are vacant as he stares at the ground, and I think about making a run for it again. "Oh!" I jump as he snaps his head up. "My dad once told me that his dad knew a guy that got killed here back in like the 50s. "Oh?" Despite the fact that there's a crazy meth head in front of me with a gun, I still find myself becoming interested. "Yeah, like some guy was trying to hop on one, like way back then. That's how people would get around." "So this guy was trying to drop on this train here, and it was leaving the station, and he just missed jumping on?" Clint sits down on the dry and dusty weeds and spreads his legs out over the rails. "And he falls down like this, and it runs over his legs." Clint brings both hands down in chopping motions over his thighs. Blood goes everywhere, and yeah, he's dead, right? He looks up at me, and I realise he's actually waiting for an answer. I guess his questions are never rhetorical. I'd assume so, right? Wrong. They found him a few hours later, and somehow the fucker's still alive. Oh. I'm already starting to doubt this story, or at least this version of it. The stumps is packed with dirt, so he stopped the bleeding, but he's gone crazy by now. He's going on about some creature that came to him and spoke whispers in his ear. Well, at the very least, I can just stick this story somewhere slow in the project to keep things somewhat interesting. One of those local urban legends type of things. But then he goes to the hospital, and they think he's gonna live, but then he jumps out the fucking window and kills himself. Clint stands up and brushes himself off. My dad used to tell me that story a lot. Not like I wanted to hear it, but he liked telling me things I didn't want to hear. I don't quite know what to say to that, but I want to keep on his good side, so I make a show of putting a notebook out of my bag. Well, thanks, Clint. That actually helps me out a lot. But Clint is still off in his own world, staring off at some trees in the distance. It's weird that you needed to hear that story, because I come here because of it. For closure or something? Because of that guy. Sometimes I think I see him when I'm all high, and I hear things here too. It's scary, but I do it anyway because it's different. In this town, everything's always the same, but you can make it change if you want. At that point, he starts walking again, off the tracks and toward that group of trees. I decidedly don't follow him, instead hurriedly making my way back to Leo's house. I have a lot of time to calm down on the walk back. Leo's splayed out on the couch, picking through a TV dinner on his lap. There you are. I warmed one up for you too, but it's probably cold by now. That's alright, I'll just put it back in. Leo watches me as I head into the kitchen adjacent to the living room. Hey, what's up? My dinner is sitting on the stovetop, and I make an effort not to wrinkle my nose at the sculpted rib meat covered in barbecue sauce. Watery mashed potatoes complements the gooey mess. Nothing. It's just tired as all. I toss the dinner back into the microwave and set the timer to 2 minutes. As it's warming, I turn back around to lean against the counter and face Leo in the living room. Hey, I was wondering something. Oh? Leo looks back up at me, ears falling back a little. It's about Clint. Leo's brow furrows. I mean, you guys are at each other's throats. I know there's always been some animosity between you two, but I don't remember it being this bad. I frown. You guys practically want each other dead. Leo pins his ears back while he licks barbecue sauce off his fingers. I really don't know, Chase. If I had to say, I think it would be the drugs. The drugs. Yeah, whatever he's taking, it's pretty hardcore. I mean, he's a goddamn skeleton now, right? Yeah. But it's not like I'm responsible for it. I just treat him like he treats everybody else. I open my mouth, hesitate, and finally ask what's been bothering me. When we were younger, would you say that you, bullied him? Leo frowns. What's bringing all of this up? Nothing, I'm just curious all. Leo starts to smooth down the fur on his head, all puffed out from the shower. I mean, I wasn't nice to him, of course, but he was an arsehole to everybody else. Like I said, I did to him what he did to others. He coughs. Maybe a little worse. Worse? What he did to us was pretty bad, though. He tried to burn me with a cigarette once. See, when you tell me shit like that, I don't feel bad for any of the things I did to his worthless ass. I'm saved from having to respond to that as the timer goes off. I turn around to pull my food out of the microwave before grabbing a plastic fork and sitting down next to Leo. We eat in a slightly awkward silence. By the time I'm almost finished, I'm feeling a little nauseous. Not to be rude, but do you always eat this stuff? Huh? He looks up with a mouthful of mashed potatoes. This microwavable dinner stuff? He swallows loudly. Yeah? You don't like it? He lowers his ears again, looking embarrassed. It's fine, I mean, it's just sad. I look at him sheepishly. Ah, you little fucker. I get better food sometimes. This is just easier. Yeah. I drag a plastic fork through the flaky potatoes. And what qualifies as better food? The diner. Hey, it's not like I can't afford it. I make good money. I laugh. This isn't about money. I just think you're lazy. Leo mock growls and leans over to grab me. I yelp theatrically and try to hold my tray steady as he yanks me sideways to lay down against him, our heads on the armrest. Hey, I gotta throw away my tray. It's full of gross TV dinner water. Leo nuzzles into my neck. Put it on the floor. Ew, gross. You can throw it away when I'm ready to get up. Since when do you decide when I can or can't get up? Since you decided to mouth off to me. Now you're the one that's going to be cooking all my meals and cleaning up my house, Tudor. I shiver, and he responds by spooning me tighter. Clearly Leo's gauged that I'm past the point of resisting at this point in my little vacation, and he's taken advantage of it. Estoy loco por ti. He rolls the R dramatically. Definitely taken advantage. We're both too tired to do anything more, which is probably for the best, and within a few minutes, I've passed out. Wow, that's... weird stuff is going on, and we're going to check out more in the next episode. This is Osho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.